At the break of dawn, when most of the world slept, a giant stirred on the fringes of Metro Manila, an airport unlike anything Asia had ever expected. Imagine a runway stretching farther than the eye can see, colossal terminals rising like futuristic citadels of steel and glass, and a promise whisper across continents. The Philippines is about to rewrite the rules of global air travel. What you're about to witness isn't just another transportation project. It's a tectonic shift, a dollar mega hub that could eclipse the dreams of aviation giants and redraw the map of Asia's economic power. Hidden beneath headlines and buried in spreadsheets of billion-peso budgets is a story of ambition, politics, risk, and destiny. It is the story of the new Manila International Airport, a colossal venture that even seasoned aviation insiders say Asia didn't see coming. This isn't hype. Every runway build, every political pivot, every investor gamble carries a high-stakes truth. By 2030, Manila aims to be more than a stopover. It wants to be the heart of the sky. And what that means for travelers, for airline bosses, for the economies of Southeast Asia, well, the world is about to find out. Sitting on 2,500 hectares of reclaimed coastal land in Bulacan, north of the thrumming chaos of Manila traffic and congested ramps of Ninoy Aquino International Airport, the site of an MIA is already one of the most talked about pieces of infrastructure on the planet. This provokes questions no simple billboard can answer. Why here, at this moment? Why would the Philippines, a nation of scattered islands and intense weather patterns, cast its economic fate on an airport that, when complete, could handle 100 million passengers annually at full capacity, with even higher ambitions whispered behind closed doors? The project, backed by San Miguel Corporation, is estimated to cost in the ballpark of 735 billion Cuban pesos, $14 to $15 billion, and could be operational long before 2030 if timelines hold. But what makes it truly compelling isn't the price tag. It's the sheer audacity of the vision. A hypermodern air city, connected by expressways and rails, intensifying international connectivity, and rewriting how goods and people move across Asia. This isn't an airport. It's a statement, a geopolitical and economic gamble that could remake Manila's global standing. For decades, the Philippines' main gateway, NAIA, has struggled under the weight of success. More travelers than its terminals were designed to handle, labyrinthine security lanes, and infrastructure that creaks at peak hours. NAIA ferried over 50 million passengers a year, more than it was ever supposed to, and became a symbol of growth unprepared for prosperity. Meanwhile, airlines and cargo carriers looked at modern hubs from Singapore to Seoul and wondered why Manila wasn't one of them. When San Miguel Corporation pitched its plan, skeptics blinked. Could a privately driven project, with little precedent of the scale in the region, truly stand beside the giants like Singapore Changi or Hong Kong International? Could it alleviate NAIA's woes and, more audaciously, surpass those giant hubs? The answer, hidden in financial models and engineering blueprints, suggests not just expansion, but transformation, one that forces Asia's aviation industry to reconsider Manila's place in the sky. But ambitions this large always have echoes, political, environmental, social, and logistical. Behind the visions of terminals and runways are land reclamation battles, community negotiations, and engineering feats that flirt with the edge of human possibility. Some locals whisper about flood risks and sinking soils. Climate scientists ask hard questions about coastal resilience. Across the capital, planners debate the transport links. Without efficient rail and expressway connections, even the grandest airport can become a gilded traffic nightmare. Yet the boldest voices insist that the Philippines must think bigger. The Southeast Asian region is projected to double its commercial fleet in the next 2 decades, and new megahubs are set to compete for that growth. With projects in Vietnam, India, and Malaysia roaring ahead, Manila's bid isn't an outlier. It's a critical entry in Asia's next chapter of mobility. But critics ask, will Manila meet its promises on schedule, or will delay and cost overruns push this dream into the dustbin of what might have been? It helps to understand that this is sometimes a story of 2 airports, the sprawling New Manila International Airport in Bulacan, and the transformation unfolding at NAIA itself. While the mega hub rises from reclaimed Earth, NAIA is undergoing its own modernization, with biometric border processing and capacity upgrades designed to improve efficiency and passenger experience. This dual-track strategy, build bold and modernize legacy, reveals a master plan that might just outfox conventional setbacks. Imagine arriving in Manila in 2030. Blue skies, glass terminals, express trains whisking you from runway to city, and a seamless, fast-paced experience that rivals the world's busiest hubs. Yet, layer beneath that dream the tangled negotiations between government agencies, private corporations, and international lenders. Each runway extension and terminal design was fought over, delayed, or reinvented, often behind closed doors. The tension between ambition and execution is where the heart of this story truly lies. But let's zoom out and look at what this means in Asia. Not long ago, Changi was unchallenged as the region's aviation crown jewel, a marvel of design and efficiency that travelers sought out just to enjoy more than to pass through. Singapore set the bar high, but Southeast Asia's skies are changing faster than anyone expected. Vietnam's Long Tan Airport, another large project, aims to eclipse even established giants. Malaysia, Thailand, and others are expanding. The race for capacity is more than national pride. It's about capturing economic growth, airline partnerships, cargo flows, tourism dollars, and industry prestige. In that ecosystem, the Philippines doesn't want to play catch-up. It wants to leap forward. If successful, Manila's new hub won't just serve flights. It could become a magnet for foreign investment, a pivot point for logistics networks, and a launch pad for a new generation of economic dynamism across the region. There's also a human story here, of the engineers, construction crews, diplomats, and visionaries who make such colossal enterprises real. Imagine scheduling the movement of millions of tons of earth, steel, and concrete against the unpredictable rhythms of weather and global supply chains. Envision the coordination required between transport authorities, foreign investors, airline CEOs, and local communities whose land is transformed forever. Airports are more than terminals and runways. They are economic ecosystems, magnets for businesses, hotels, logistics hubs, and entire clusters of human activity. Each decision, from runway length to terminal aesthetics, is an investment in a future that nobody sees clearly yet, but everyone hopes will be brighter. And in Manila's case, the stakes are national, redefining a country's place in the global economy by harnessing the sky itself. Yet, for all the soaring plans and masterful engineering, not everyone is convinced. Skeptics point at timelines that could slip, costs that could balloon, and demand forecasts that might never materialize. Airports are long-term bets, sometimes 50 years in the making, with revenue only trickling in at first. What happens if the projected passenger numbers don't arrive? What if global travel patterns shift again as they did after the pandemic? What if geopolitical headwinds disrupt airline alliances and flight routes? These questions aren't hypothetical. They're strategic threats that every planner must account for, and no mega project escapes them unscathed. The future of this hub isn't guaranteed. It's contested by variables beyond engineering and ambition. It's the uncertainty that makes success so compelling, and failure so devastating. Still, the potential upside is staggering. Imagine Manila not only absorbing travelers from around the globe, but becoming a preferred layover, cargo redistribution point, and high-tech logistics nexus. When a UPS Asia-Pacific expansion announced a new facility at Clark International Airport, industry observers saw not just an investment in local business, but a sign of confidence in Philippine aviation potential. Cargo and passenger networks are deeply interconnected. An airport that succeeds on one front can catalyze transformation across the entire economy. That's not abstract theory. It is measurable economic power, capable of attracting capital, jobs, and regional influence. If Manila's new hub achieves even a fraction of its ambitions by 2030, it will transform not just Philippine travel, but the economics of an entire region. And yet, amid all these grand visions and high-priced plans, The real story might be found in the day-to-day experiences of the people who use these airports. The weary businessman connecting flights across continents, the family escaping to vacation islands, the cargo manager racing against deadlines. Their lives will be shaped by terminals, baggage carousels, waiting lounges, and boarding bridges. This airport isn't just steel and glass. It will touch lives in ways that spread far beyond Manila city limits. That mundane human thread, the experience of travel, is where the dream intersects with reality. As we peel back the layers of ambition, risk, and politics, we must remember, airports are gateways, not just places, but opportunity, connection, and possibility itself. That intersection between vision and lived reality is where the new Manila International Airport either becomes a legend or a cautionary tale. Aviation history is littered with grand promises that collapsed under miscalculation, but the Philippines' gamble carries a different energy. What sets NMI apart is not only scale, but timing. Asia's middle class is exploding. Low-cost carriers are multiplying routes at an unprecedented pace, and air cargo demand is reshaping how economies function. Every container, every tourist, every business traveler represents movement, and movement is power. By positioning itself as a future-proof hub with multiple runways, expandable terminals, and modern logistics zones, Manila is aiming to capture that power before competitors lock it away. Yet, beneath the surface optimism lies a deeper question. Can the Philippines synchronize policy, infrastructure, and execution quickly enough to seize the moment before the window closes? Transportation links may determine the answer. An airport of this magnitude cannot exist in isolation. It must be stitched seamlessly into the urban and regional fabric. Expressways connecting Bulacan to Metro Manila, rail lines linking terminals to business districts, and freight corridors designed for speed. All are essential arteries feeding the airport's lifeblood. Without them, the world's most advanced terminal becomes an island of inefficiency. Planners know this. And that's why NMI is envisioned not as a standalone facility, but as a nucleus of an aerotropolis, a city shaped around air travel, where logistics parks, hotels, offices, and commercial zones grow outward from the runways. If successful, this could redefine Philippine urban planning, shifting growth away from congestion-choked cores to a more distributed economic landscape. The environmental dimension adds another layer of complexity. Building on reclaimed land along Manila Bay places NMI at the intersection of climate science and civil engineering. Rising sea levels, storm surges, and subsidence are not distant threats. They are present realities. Engineers have responded with elevated platforms, reinforced seawalls, and advanced drainage systems designed to withstand extreme weather scenarios. Critics argue that no safeguard is foolproof, while proponents counter that innovation thrives under pressure. In truth, the airport's resilience will become a case study watched closely by coastal cities around the world. If Manila succeeds in building a climate-resilient megahub, it won't just win flights. It will export expertise. Behind the scenes, the financial choreography is just as intricate. A project measured in hundreds of billions of pesos demands confidence from lenders, contractors, and regulators alike. Every phase of construction sends signals to global markets. Confidence when milestones are hit, doubt when timelines slip. For San Miguel Corporation, NMI is not merely an infrastructure project. It is a reputational bet. Delivering on schedule could cement its role as a nation builder. Failure would echo for decades. This tension fuels relentless pressure to perform, innovate, and adapt, even as global supply chains fluctuate and costs shift unpredictably. Airlines, watching closely, have already begun adjusting long-term strategies. A new megahub alters route economics, fleet planning, and alliance dynamics. For carriers, the promise of unconstrained runways and modern terminals is intoxicating. Fewer delays, faster turnarounds, greater passenger satisfaction. Manila's geographic position, bridging Northeast Asia, Southeast Asia, and Oceania, makes it uniquely suited to serve as a crossroads. If NMI delivers on capacity and efficiency, airlines that once bypassed the Philippines may reroute through it, reshaping travel patterns across the Pacific Rim. Cargo could be the silent kingmaker, While passengers capture headlines, freight drives profitability. E-commerce, pharmaceuticals, high-value manufacturing all depend on speed and reliability. A mega airport with integrated cargo facilities can tilt entire supply chains. For the Philippines, this means moving beyond tourism-centric narratives toward a diversified aviation economy. It means factories, warehouses, and tech parks clustering around runways, generating jobs that ripple outward through communities. In this vision, NMI is not just a gateway, it's an engine. Still, mega projects are marathons, not sprints. Political transitions, regulatory shifts, and public opinion can all reshape trajectories overnight. Each administration inherits the consequences of its predecessor's decisions, for better or worse. Maintaining continuity over years, even decades, is one of the hardest challenges any nation faces. The airport's success will depend not just on concrete and steel, but on institutional discipline, the ability to stay the course when short-term pressures tempt deviation. By the late 2020s, the world will begin to see whether Manila's vision is crystallizing. Early operations, initial airline partnerships, and first impressions will set narratives that endure. Travelers will compare experiences instinctively. Queue lengths, clarity of signage, ease of connection. These small details, multiplied millions of times, define reputation. An airport doesn't earn prestige through size alone. It earns it through consistency. For Manila, excellence must become routine. And if it does, if the terminals hum, the runways flow, and the connections click, the ripple effects could be profound. A country long defined by outbound labor and inbound tourism could redefine itself as a regional connector, a logistical linchpin, a place where global movement converges. The airport would stand as proof that ambition, when matched with execution, can alter destiny. This isn't merely about flights. It's about confidence. National confidence, regional confidence, global confidence. By 2030, as jets descend over Manila Bay and passengers step into a terminal that once existed only in blueprints and bold promises, the question will finally be answered. Was this the airport Asia didn't see coming, or the one it underestimated? In that moment, beneath the roar of engines and the glow of runway lights, the Philippines' gamble will reveal its truth, not in press releases or projections, but in lived reality, in movement, connection, and the quiet realization that the sky over Manila has changed forever. Thanks for watching.